last night when he brought out a guest that will knock your socks off. And what they said is even more shocking. Colbert has always known how to get under Trump's skin, and he became Trump's sharpest and funniest critic. One of the hallmarks of the first Trump presidency was thin-skinned Donald calling up the networks and throwing tantrums for when their late-night hosts or comedians criticized him. This time around, as we all know, there are no guardrails, and the networks are capitulating. CBS's parent company, Paramount, wanted to merge with Skydance, but they needed government approval, so CBS rolled over and paid a bribe in the form of a lawsuit settlement with Trump and tossed in the canceling of Colbert to sweeten the deal. That was music to Trump's ears, because Colbert knows how to carve Trump up better than anyone. Like this.
Daddy got just what he wanted. No one came to Trump's big, stupid birthday parade. Isn't that pleasant?
But the best thing about Colbert is that he's multidimensional in how he goes after Trump. Sometimes it's clever wordplay.
The most powerful man in the world is blocking information about a cabal of the rich, the famous, and the royal, befriending a con man who regularly flies off in his private plane to his private island or do super illegal sex stuff. Then the con man is arrested. People are afraid he's going to name names, but before he can, he mysteriously dies right after being taken off a suicide watch in a federal prison during the administration of the guy who is blocking the release of the information. Boring.
Other times, it's imitation.
Have you noticed how she hasn't gone to Kansas City Chiefs games since February? Am I the only one? Also, Taylor hasn't gotten a single Christmas present all spring. Santa hates you, Tay-Tay.
And don't even get me started on imitating Eric, or the bits he does with a Melania imitator. Colbert is the quintessential comedian because he does more than poke fun at the powerful. He insists on delegitimizing Trump, a task that the mainstream media has completely abandoned, choosing to normalize Trump instead. As if claiming that a 34-time convicted felon and adjudicated rapist has every right to be president. Colbert and other late-night comedians have stepped in where their network colleagues refuse to go. And so when the network announced Colbert's cancellation, all the New York late-nighters banded together and appeared on Colbert's next episode. It was more than an act of solidarity. It was also a subtle threat to both Trump and the networks. Come after us, and we will definitely come after you by any means necessary. Now, Colbert has definitely had Trump critics on as guests, but for the most part, he saves going after Trump for the monologue section of the show. Except last night. In last night's episode, Colbert brought out a Trump critic who has not only stood toe-to-toe and beaten Trump, has not only insulted Trump to his face, but also accurately described what a Trump administration without guardrails was going to be like. Unfortunately, the country refused to believe her and thought she was just speaking hyperbolically. Colbert brought out Kamala Harris, and rather than say, "I told you so," and rather than criticize Trump, which, let's face it, is shooting fish in a barrel, Harris said something far more devastating. Watch. Nobody saw that one coming. Harris came out and went after everybody but Trump, and specifically those people, organizations, and institutions that have the power or opportunity to stand up to Trump, and instead, they just capitulate. And ask Columbia University what they got in exchange for capitulating to Trump. They got what every victim of extortion gets, another request for more. Harvard University has $52 billion in the bank. They basically live off the interest of their endowment, and yet capitulation is on the agenda there too. What Harris so courageously exposed last night is the age-old maxim that by and large, we get the government we deserve. And while you can make the case that no one deserves Trump 2.0, the amount of people and organizations that go along with Trump and Trump's agenda makes clear that fighting for democracy and acting courageously are no longer something we can depend on from the powerful, which is all the more reason why we have to be willing and able to do it ourselves. I'm Anthony Vincent Gallo for Occupy Democrats.